Hey, it's your boy Hendo checking Hendo coming to y'all with another video, and today we got fake news or real news. Trump tried to use the nuclear codes, but I want to actually let you guys know that the reason why I'm making this video is because fake news gets pushed easily, you know what I mean? And it's so many headlines, so many people are able to make news with social media and having channels that you can hear something and it could be like, what the fuck? And turns out it ain't even real, you know what I mean? And a lot of people do that. They'll hear something, run with it, be using it as a talking point, and then turns out you don't even have the facts right. You're just going off something you heard. Most people don't do research for themselves. They go off what they've heard. At the end, I put a clip of a dude actually breaking it down and going through the research. So like, comment, subscribe, hype this video up if you can. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for coming through and checking this out. Let's go.
Hello and good morning. Listen. I know we want to laugh, but this is serious. So let's lock in and focus, okay? So there is reporting out this morning. Y'all, remember I told y'all yesterday that they said they locked Syphilitic Sid out of the Situation Room because of his erratic behavior? Well, today, hold on, let me back up. In today's episode of Ask the Wise Turns, it is now being reported that he tried not only to access the meeting, he asked them people to give him the nuclear codes. What? And that, what's the man's name? General Kane. We don't know how we feel about him, right? Because him and Keg's breath, you know, they like this. But apparently he stood up and said, no, we're not doing that. What in the entire fuck? What was he going to do with the nuclear codes, y'all? Who was he going to nuke? Jesus Christ. Like, I know we come here to laugh. And it's a little funny, but it's not really funny. It's a little terrifying. But, y'all, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Now, to be clear, they are saying, although it's being reported by anonymous sources, that some of the major news networks are saying that this is unverified. Okay, so if it's unverified, then we could just laugh. But if it turned out to be true, what the hell? I'm trying to pack a go bag. If he got nukes, it ain't gonna matter. Oh my God. If this is what's happening, it's just gonna be Cher and the cockroaches. Cause, well, maybe Kris Jenner would up. Well, no, she did have a facelift and they took out all that filler out of her face. I don't know. Oh, jeez. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna try to focus. Y'all too. I just hope we're here at the end of the day. Okay. Okay, bye.
And that's the thing. It's unverified. So you don't know. But I was always told, don't put nothing past somebody or they're going to pass you. And I would never put nothing past Trump. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put it past him asking. But I do want to be 100% honest that I don't believe he would ever use nukes on Iran, because that's a large oil producer for the world. If you were to nuke them, it would not only nuke them, but it would destroy the region pretty much. And then it would arm Russia and China, because now they're going to be like, damn, if we got a problem with America, they're willing to go to nukes. I'll be surprised if they don't shoot some off themselves. Like, fuck it. Like, we ain't no just friendly, regular warfare with these guys. They are falling and they're willing to take everybody down with them type shit. But, you know, it's something to be aware of. It's something to think about, you know what I mean? And just, you know, I was watching a movie recently with Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jonah Hill. And it's called Don't Look Up or Don't Look Down. Yeah, Don't Look Up, I think. And I seen it on Netflix, and I just turned it on because I was like, I ain't never seen this. And bro, when I was watching it, I was just dying laughing because I'm like, this is literally something that would happen, bro. This is literally what happened. I don't want to spoil it, but go watch it if you can. But I just want to say that, like, the president, they find out that a meteor is going to hit Earth. They take it to the president, and the president says, that's not a good look. Midterms are coming up. I ain't finna say shit about that. Yeah, good. Like, type shit. And I'm like, wow, that's literally some shit I could see Trump doing. Like, I wouldn't put that past him, and I wouldn't put nothing past him. But we also got to be aware of fake news and just not fall for the boy. You know what I mean? And do your research. That's important. Like, when you hear a headline, don't ever go running with it and talking about it. Just do your research. Let's keep going.
Did a U.S. general just refuse a direct order from the President of the United States of America to launch nukes? And if he did, is that a coup? Or is there actually a law that allows it? Let's look at the explosive unverified claim that's sweeping the internet right now. Trump wanted to use the nuclear codes, but General Dan Kane stood up and said no. Retired CIA analyst Larry Johnson claims that during a secret Saturday meeting, likely regarding Iran, President Donald Trump wanted to use the nuclear codes. Johnson says General Raisin Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, stood up, blocked him, and then stormed the F out. This is where it gets technical. Johnson claims that Kane invoked the U.S. Code of Military Justice, specifically Article 92. Now, Article 92 usually covers failure to obey orders. It's what you get court-martialed for if you disobey a superior. But if a general is invoking it against the president, he's essentially arguing the president's order is unlawful. However, here's a massive reality check. The president is the commander-in-chief. Legally, the nuclear launch authority rests solely with him. There's no verification of this meeting from major news outlets, surprise, surprise. In fact, fact-checkers are questioning whether an emergency Saturday meeting was even called. So did a general save the world, or is this just a wild rumor? For now, it remains an allegation, but the discussion about Article 92 and who really controls the football is one worth having. Share your thoughts in the comments section and follow me for more. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well.
Why did they say that Donald Trump tried to access nuclear codes on Sunday? That's right, and they said that a general had to stop him from accessing nuclear codes to launch nuclear weapons. They said that this information was gathered from a retired CIA analyst. And they said this comes as growing concerns about Donald Trump's overall mental health and well-being. The man tried to access nuclear codes because he's losing. Y'all need to figure this out. And you need to figure it out now. Because what's going on in Virginia is very, very important. And he is willing to bet it all, the whole house, on this war working out in his favor. And it's not. Clearly, it's not. So, I don't know what happened Sunday. I don't know where that general is. But everybody needs to focus at this point. And I'm not trying to fearmonger. Because if this man is willing to drop a nuke on another nation and break every dang treaty in the book to further this genocide and also his global tirade to be remembered, this is too much. Please check out my profile. Let me know what you think about my other content, and let me know what you think about this.
Larry Johnson, an ex-CIA analyst, has said that Donald Trump wanted to nuke Iran. I broke my arm playing with my kids. Life of a dad. I've been telling you guys since about November that Donald Trump has been and is considering using tactical nuclear weapons on Iran. It started becoming a reality when the United States realized that it could not open the Strait of Hormuz without taking the entire country of Iran. All it takes is one drone or one missile to hit a single ship and the strait is reclosed. Now apparently this ex-CIA analyst says that an inside source says that Donald Trump ordered a nuclear strike against Iran. This would fit perfectly into what I've been telling you guys and Donald Trump's mindset. The force projection in the region tells a story, with only 60,000 troops and the language coming from Donald Trump saying that he's going to blow up the entire country. When he said a civilization was going to die, you can't do that with 60,000 troops and conventional weapons. If Donald Trump were to use a nuclear weapon, he would be using a tactical, a small nuclear weapon, like the weapons that were dropped on Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Those are considered small nuclear weapons. That's about 10 to 15 times stronger than the explosion that happened in Beirut, Lebanon in 2020. So what do you guys think? Do you think Donald Trump is going to try again to put in another order to use a nuclear weapon, shouldn't it be the responsibility of the ones who received that order to report that to Congress? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Until next time, guys, drop a follow on TikTok, subscribe on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. I'll try not to break my other arm. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
First off, I got 7 kids, bro. They all live with me. I never broke my arm playing with their ass, and we be chilling, but in no way, nigga. None of them ever broke their arm. That is crazy. That's a different type of playing. You got some either strong ass kids or I don't know what the fuck y'all doing, but that's crazy. Second off, Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs are small bombs now. We need to put that into perspective. Like those bombs that were dropped in Japan are small bombs compared to today's bombs. We're talking about country wiping bombs, damn near. Like that's what we're talking about. Like these days. So like nuclear, when people talk about nuclear war, that's literally planet devastation. Like that's like y'all about to wipe us out. Fuck it, we have no choice. Hit the button. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like a deterrent. That's why it keeps countries safe. That's why Iran's in the position they are in. Because if they had a nuke, there'd be nothing Trump could really say. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, what you gonna do? That's why North Korea is safe. Because they got them a nuke. It's like, fuck that. Y'all even be telling us what to do, shit. It at least keeps your country, they can't wipe you out without threat of being wiped out themselves. Or coming in and just wiping out all the leaders by hand. You know what I mean? But let's keep going though.
So I've heard claims that Donald Trump tried to use a nuke, and General Dane Can said, fuck no, nigga, we're not allowing you to use a nuke. I want to talk about this because I didn't talk about this on my page, but let's do some real journalism opposed to just reading articles. So when I heard this, I saw a really big content creator, a big newsbreaker on here make this video. I was like, I don't really believe it. And the reason why I didn't believe it is because the guy who came up with the claim, his name is Larry C. Johnson. And for context, Larry C. Johnson used to be a intelligence analyst for the CIA, but it was like from like 1993 to like 1996. Like he wasn't there for long. When I started doing research about who he was and like what companies he owns, and this was one of the companies he owns. It's called Berg and Associates. It's this very shitty little website, and they break news on it. Very shitty. And then he also has a YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel looks like something I would see on Kick, if I'm going to be quite frank with you guys. This is what the guy's YouTube channel looks like. I'm showing you guys all this, and I'll click on a video just for context, because I think it's important that we understand who we're getting our information from and why they would give such information. And I think you can get a lot of context. This is what this guy's YouTube channel looks like. This is the guy who has made the claim that so many people are talking about, that Donald Trump got told no, he can't use a nuclear weapon. So he owns the Berg and Associates group, and he also helped create this group called Veteran Intelligence Professionals for Sanity. And I was combing through it. At first glance, it seems like VIPS, that's the acronym, is bullshit. And then you realize John Kiriakou is in VIPS. And I was like, oh, this is very interesting that John Kiriakou is in this, because, sometimes I love his content, and it seems very sensationalized, but he's a funny dude. But what you realize is about VIPS is they've done some things. Like in 2003, they wrote a memorandum a day before the war in Iraq started saying that, you guys have, like, not used our intelligence correctly. Like, we don't think this is a good idea. Like, trying to get rid of Saddam Hussein is only going to create a huge, recruiting population for terrorist organizations. And they're right. And they said in 2010, that Israel is going to attack Iran in a month, which didn't happen. This happened in 2010. But then with the Syria situation, so they claimed that the Syrian situation, because there's this attack, it's called the Ghouta chemical attack, a really terrible situation. This missile hit this town, and it had sarin in the missiles, and sarin is it's a chemical agent. It kind of makes you, if it hits your skin, like you inhale it, then like you start to drool, and then you lose all control over your body, so you start throwing up and pissing and defecating, and you start asphyxiating, like you start choking and then you die. It's a terrible situation. And Vips claim that, like, it wasn't like Syria's government, because this is the claim. The claim is that the Bashar al-Assad regime did this. They're like, no, like, it wasn't like Syria, like it was like probably this group. It was a Syrian, whatever. He was basically saying that, it wasn't Bashar al-Assad's regime. And then that's when you start to get this like little, like, this is where for me it's like there's a ringing in my head where it's like ring, 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 where it's like, oh yeah, like you guys sound like Russian propaganda. And it even says this in the Wikipedia. It says this group has later been implicated in support for Russian propaganda regarding the Russian interference in the 2016 United States elections. And people say that about John Kiriakou too. They're like, you take checks from like Russia. He's like, yeah, take checks from Russia and da 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 da. And it's like, now I can't trust the claim. Because like now I can understand like why somebody would come out and say such a thing like this. This is because that nigga could be getting paid to say something like this. This nigga only put in 4 years of work. John Kiriakou put in a lot of work, I will say that. But this nigga, Larry C. Johnson, you ain't put no work. You just be on YouTube overly yapping. So like, am I gonna trust him? No. That's reality situation. So it's like, that's my conclusion. Do I think that situation happened with General Dan Kane and what's his name? And Donald Trump? No, I don't. But that is the news. I just want to give you guys that, bloop of journalism. Yeah.
And that's what I mean by do your research. That right there is exactly what I mean by do your research, bro. Because look at dude, he done found who paying you, who actually made the statement, who they tied to, who they around, where they worked at 5-10 years ago, what they were doing 13 years ago. You know what I mean? Bro was really like, all right, you wanna. That's to a far extent of doing your research, but that's thoroughly doing your research. I think that you should just at least know where the statement is coming from, at least get basic knowledge on the person, and then you can make your own discernment on whether you think it's real or whether you want to believe it or whether what you say. But like I said, shit may sound crazy, like people eating people on islands sounded crazy 6-7 years ago. Like how that sounded like, what are you talking about? You conspiracy theory ass nut? That's what I'm saying. I ain't putting nothing past nobody nowadays. Like everything we hear about, like all these conspiracy theories, I look at it with a different lens now. I look at it like, you know what I mean? So when I hear stuff like that could easily be true. He could easily be tied in and leak the information and got in trouble for leaking the information, but they don't want to punish him too harsh because if they send him to jail or something, then it shows that the information was real. So they probably like, bro. And we have people like Pete Hegseth who leaked sensitive military information in a chat or in a Discord or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, so it's not past them to be like, oh, guess what? Trump tried to walk in and did it. That's the type of people they are. Like, I don't even look at the White House isn't even taken serious anymore. Like, literally, these niggas is tweeting crazy tweets. Like, it's Twitter fingers. They literally Twitter fingers. Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. No, look at that. No, but thank y'all for checking in. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, hype this video up. I truly, truly appreciate y'all for watching this. If you got this far, you the shit. No flies. All right, let's get it. Peace.